How you doing? This is Ray Kisonas from the Monroe News. I'm here with Brad Schreiber. He is the recently named interim director of the Monroe County Convention and Tourism Bureau. Welcome, Brad. This is our inaugural and first time Facebook Live, and we chose you for many reasons. Number one, your personality, and number two, top album of all time. Real quick.
Out of the Blue, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra.
Which one?
Huh?
Which one?
Which one?
Which album? Top album of all time.
Out of the Blue, ELO.
Oh, Out of the Blue.
Tomorrow we're going to do Shapes and Colors. We'll work with that, but that's okay, right? That's all right. At least Vince knows that. Vince will be with me.
I do have that album, by the way.
You do?
Still on vinyl.
Oh, me too.
Still on vinyl.
You know, it was just re-released.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I loved it.
It's an excellent album, start to finish.
I have my all-time probably would be Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones.
Really?
That's probably my one.
That's your
favorite.
go-to album.
That's my go-to.
If you were to give an album out to any new youngin that got an
correct.
Yeah, you would do that.
Absolutely.
See, now I would probably give out Abbey Road. That would be my first one.
Well, that's very close, number 2 for me.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Abbey
we can
Road.
go over that later.
Yeah, we can go over that later. We're here to talk about other things.
Okay.
The interim director. Tell me how. First of all, let's talk a little bit about John Patterson.
Yeah, let's talk about John.
Your dear friend, and he did a lot for this community with the Tourism Bureau. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about your friendship with him and what he did for Monroe.
Huh. Well, let's see. John and I knew each other for 15 years, and started out with kind of a tiff, actually. He and I were kind of working against each other's grains for a little bit. There was a subplot against what he was doing with the Tourism Bureau. There's a lot of misunderstandings a lot of times with different groups. And John was kind of a private person, so a lot of times people didn't know what he was up to. They didn't know what he was doing. And so instead of talking to John, people would just kind of make up stuff and think that, well, maybe he was doing this or maybe he's doing that, or they didn't go directly to him. And so one day, after hearing all the stuff that people were saying, John came up to me and he said, hey, what are you working on? And I said, well, I don't want to talk to you about it because you're just going to, you know, take it away from me. Or he was like, where'd you get that idea? And I told him, and he was like, wow. He goes, well, that's completely untrue. And I said, well, you tell me about it. And then John said, well, why don't we do it over lunch? And I said, okay. And then we went out to lunch, and he dispelled everything. And really that's what it was about. And he said, you know what, I respect you for coming to me and telling me instead of spreading it around. And that's how it started. So you kind of almost fell into that same trap that was going on about him, that he wasn't doing anything. And you discovered that he was actually doing quite a bit. He was, and you know what, that's the thing about John Patterson. People think that he's only responsible for the Tourism Bureau. Not the Tourism Bureau, but for the Jazz Festival. You know what I mean? Correct. People only think that he does maybe sometimes. You know, he's affiliated with the Halloween Festival or maybe the fireworks. And people also think that, well, gosh, you know, maybe those are the 3 things that he does, but it's predominantly jazz. But what people don't know about the Tourism Bureau is that we do a lot of outreach that's really not seen. You know, a lot of it's not seen at all. I mean, we advertise in periodicals that aren't seen. Our job is to draw people in, and what happens here, once we get people here, that's the community's job. So, do you think he did that? Do you think he brought people in? I think he did. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Jazz Fest. Now, when you were brought in, there was some concerns that perhaps that with his untimely death that the Jazz Fest might not happen, but that's now has been established that it certainly will be going on, and I believe it is August that it will occur. Is that correct? Yeah, it will continue as usual. Good. Always the second week in August. Second week in August. Yep, correct. Right in John's birthday. Isn't that something? You'll be on that Saturday and August 11th and 12th. That's correct. At St. Mary's Park. St. Mary's Park. And what can we expect? More of the same, that's for sure. But you know, the stakeholders have actually gotten together with me and the artistic director Alexander Zanchik, who has, you know, they've all pledged to just keep driving it all home. We want to definitely do something in tribute to John, legacy for him. I mean, there's no doubt John's gift was a creative mind, and he definitely was a visionary.
Of course.
And he had an immense love for jazz.
Sure.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, nobody knew more about it than he did, and no one loved it more than he did. Mm-hmm. And he shared that with the community. And so it's only fitting that we use this year as the legacy edition of the River Raisin Jazz Festival, and all of the sponsors. I mean, there's not one that hasn't gotten behind that. And it's so refreshing and cool to see, you know, just people just, you know, waiting and ready to do it. I mean, there's not one stalwart comment. It's just everybody moving forward, banding together in unison, and that's awesome. You know, if you know, there's so much negativity in the world, and especially, you know, when you look on Facebook and on any given day,
that's right,
you can see a lot of negativity. You can see a lot of good stuff. But that's my phone. Hang on, take care.
Okay.
This is live. Okay, so that's over. You can see a lot of negativity on Facebook, and you can also see a lot of goodness, and that's the stuff that you don't get to see a lot of times.
Now, can you give me a possible performer that may be coming, or someone you're trying to get? Is it too early to say, or can you give us at least a hint at who might be coming, or is it really strict under wraps right now?
It is under it's under wraps. I mean, there's always wish lists and things, and you know, our artistic director, Mr. Zanchik, would always say that he welcomes wish lists from folks and things like that. I mean, you know, would love to have a George Benson here.
Right.
Love to have, gosh, he's had so many up there. Boney James, we haven't had him here yet.
Okay.
And you know, Alex puts out at probably 7, 8, 9 different jazz festivals throughout the state of Michigan.
Okay.
So he is really an immense figure in the jazz world. So he has a lot of pull, and we're very fortunate to have him.
So we will expect a great weekend, though, at least, correct?
It will be probably one of our shining moments.
Good.
And definitely showcasing the legacy of John Patterson for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your role here as the interim. Now, are you holding down the fort, so to speak? Is this something you're actively involved with? And do you have? Are you coming up with a plan? Can you just expand a little bit on your role as the interim? And are you planning on bringing some in? Are you sharing ideas? What? Just if you can, just give us a little bit of idea of what your role is as the interim director.
Well, obviously, John's death was a shock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was no room for prepping. There was no room for priming. I wasn't being molded for this position in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it was a graphic fellow. I did all of John's marketing for him, but I knew what he did, and I knew the timing of things that came out. I knew how they were done. I didn't know the logistics and the fiduciary types of things like that, but I knew most of the other things. So it seemed like an easy fit for me to be called and to do that kind of stuff. Therefore, I became more hands-on that way. The board has been very hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
They have delved into this. Travel Michigan has been very involved. Dave Lorenz actually had a meeting with a bunch of stakeholders here in the county, as you know, and gave us a nice little list of things that would help us along, which we have gotten through and attacked ferociously, actually, because we want this thing to run very, very smoothly.
So what are you planning on some ideas, some perhaps events that you're working on?
Nice, new
at
ones?
this stage? Yeah, something new perhaps, or are you still kind of feeling things through?
Well, it's only been like 3 weeks in.
Okay, I get it.
Maybe
I
4.
get it.
I think maybe 4 at this point. So right now, my job has been to straighten things out,
Sure.
get everything kind of like put together, get on a very balanced plane.
Sure.
And we have actually, and we've invited in a consultant, and he is getting everything out and ready for us, and you can expect a lot of really cool things from the tourism.
Okay.
It's
All right.
going to
So
look
it's
a little bit different, but it's going to be very, very accessible.
good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the art fair will be with there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They will be with us once
I mean,
again.
everybody loves art. Do we
You know
not?
what? It's absolutely stunning, and it's been.
I mean, we've got a lot of
wonderful
great
action.
artists here in Monroe, don't we?
We have a lot of great artists, and you know what? We're so happy. And I have to say also the Jazz Series is with us again.
Good.
All of the 4 venues have banded together to make certain that...
So we have Amaya's, Public House, 129 Lounge, and one more to be announced.
McGady's.
Oh, McGady's. Okay,
Yes,
great.
yes,
Of
and
course.
all 4 of them once again will host.
Good.
Yeah.
And all 4 great places. Those
All 4 great places.
Really, really cool places.
All the owners have banded together
Good.
and to make this happen. They've been amazing.
Awesome.
Absolutely amazing. So we're very, very blessed in this community to do that. We're going to have the carriage rides out here again. It will be, I don't want to say it's business as usual, because
Right,
it's
of
going to be a
course.
little bit more heartfelt this year than normal.
Sure.
I mean, not that John didn't pour his heart and soul into it every year.
But you're going to have the legacy carry on, apparently, then.
Indeed.
All right.
Yeah.
A little bit about Brad.
Yeah.
Yourself. Let's see. Your Impact show.
Yes.
Strange.
Magic.
And you get that from which album?
That was an ELO album as well. Oh, God, don't make me do it. Oh, geesh. I can't remember which one that's off of right off the bat.
I think it's the green one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the green one. That's it. That's the one it was. Right. That's it.
ELO, obviously,
Vince is going to get me for that.
even though that's your top album,
Yeah.
I mean, ELO's your top band, but it's not your top album.
No,
so
it's
that
not.
was.
No, not really.
And then and also Airport High School
That's
graduate.
right. Yeah.
And in community college.
Yes, sir.
So you're all about
Monroe.
You're
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
about here. You've got your show,
Yeah.
and a member of the Battlefield, the River Raisin
Yep,
National
foundation
Battlefield
out
Park.
there. Yeah,
And
very
we got
proud of
some
that.
big things going on with the park, do we not?
Yes.
You're involved with that to some degree, I'm sure.
Mhm.
You have 1,080 friends on Facebook, so we're on Facebook. So
I feel kind of stopped.
That's
right?
pretty good. That's
I didn't
pretty
know that
good.
you did all that homework on me.
That's right.
No wonder you wouldn't meet with me before this interview.
All on Facebook.
Let this be a lesson to any of you that are coming onto this program. Man, he did do his homework, and I did want to meet with him beforehand, and he said no.
No.
There it is.
And don't forget, we all have an extensive library at the Monroe
Okay,
News,
right.
which has you on file.
Ooh, that's
So let's wrap it up real quick. So
Okay.
let's do our top 5. Come on, we can do this.
top 5.
Top 5 albums of all time. Let's do it.
Okay,
Number
okay.
1, you already got ELO.
Yeah.
Out of the Blue.
That's right.
I took Rolling Stones. Let It Bleed.
Okay.
All right. Number
Right.
2, and we're not going to be stuck with this. Quick.
Okay.
Number 2.
Pet Sounds.
Pet Sounds.
Pet Sounds. Beach Boys.
Beach Boys. Number 2 for me, Abbey Road. Number 3,
More of the Monkees by the Monkees.
Monkees.
Love the Monkees. Who doesn't love the Monkees?
Number 3, Blonde on Blonde.
Ooh, Dylan. Okay.
Number 4,
Number 4, Bad Love by Randy Newman.
Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Let's see. Was he not the one who was nominated for a Grammy year after year after year after year and
Every
never
year.
won?
Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
think
finally
he
he
got
won.
it for
Or
Toy
was it an
Story,
Oscar?
didn't he?
Maybe it was an Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4 for me. Who's next?
Ooh. By the Who?
Yep. And finally, number 5.
Are you going to go first?
No, I'm waiting. You go first. You're the guest.
Oh,
Randy Newman. I like that one.
Like the Randy Newman, do you? Gosh, I got to think about number 5. Had a number 5. Oh, Abbey Road, Beatles.
Okay.
There it is.
And for me, it's got to be
Abbey Road by the Beatles.
Well, they were number 2.
No pressure. It can't be the White Album.
No.
Who likes the White Album?
It was okay. It was okay.
Should have been one album, right?
Revolver would have
right?
been on there.
No, it should have been one album. Period.
Yes, I know.
Are you right?
There was a long number 9, Revolution number 9. There's a whole story behind that.
9.
But I'll never understand it.
That's fair enough.
So I guess number 5 will be for me off the top of my head. Let's see, Stones, Who? Gosh, I can't even. Dylan and.
I feel really bad about stuttering about my 5th one.
I'm just stuck right here. I guess I'll just have to say Quadrophenia.
Really?
Yep.
2 Who albums?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Only because that time of my life is where I just kept on wearing them out, the vinyl.
Well, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No.
Quadrophenia was a little
I noticed
too,
no
by the way.
R&B in your
No,
picks.
not an R&B fan. I'm strictly pretty much rock and roll.
Well, there it is.
That's the way it is. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We're all set. Have a nice day, everybody.